Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, Ba'ashem Al-Wakwadash. Double honors unto the elder apostles at Great Millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere came across the world. Now, I wanted to talk about a few different things. There's new information. Well, there's new information out there concerning the mark of the beast, because they're implementing a new system, and it all starts in America, but it's going to trickle down onto over here through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He's going to make it to where Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He's going to make it to where the whole entire planet Earth is going to be under the vibration of 666 with that RFID chip. It's already under the vibration of 666, because every article that you buy, everything, even your Bible that you buy, it has a barcode, and the first, the middle, and the last stripes represent 666. So every barcode in existence on the planet Earth that's using a the scanner thing, or when you go to the counter and then they scan it, that thing is registered to scan only 666. Well, with the numbers in between, But I mean, like, if your product doesn't have the 666, then the store, the computer will not recognize it, because, it will give an error like, hey, this is not a real barcode. Because their real, what's up, man? Because their real barcode is 666, like 6, and then digits in between, and then comes a 6 in the middle, and then digits between that, and then at the end it's another 6. If you Google it, you will see. But wait, I'll get to that, Lord willing. Let me get up in the people are trees, and the Most High is gonna make it to where these trees are gonna get chopped down. Well, I should say, these trees have been chopped down for centuries. And then it's going to stop, because the Most High is going to make it to where Esau is not going to be able to be that feller, which is a person that, I think a lumberjack or something like that. I think that's the jacket. But anyway, a person that chops down wood. And Esau is the chopper of trees. Right, so it says right here, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 7. I'll start at 4. That thou shalt take up. No, I'll start at. I'll start at 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give rest. Sorry, it shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. That's the hard bondage that we are in right now. The Heavenly Father already did it back then in the time of Babylon, ancient Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar. Then he sent Cyrus to go chin check him, right? He already did it then, but now he's going to do it again. Verse 4. So Isaiah 14 and 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how had the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Because America is that golden city right now. The Netherlands is another kind of golden city, to where, because these people are until this day, they're still making money off of the Jacob descendants there in South America. They're still making money off of them. Meanwhile, their economic system is getting destroyed. I put a link to the video called Economic Hitman Confessions from John Perkins. The 30-minute one, like 29, 39, something like that. You need to watch that one. Like the whole interview, it takes an hour, but in the hour one, somebody didn't, everything that he says is being clipped. I should say, everything that he says continually, he keeps on talking, and then somebody put images, clips of images of what he's saying, that actually did happen. News articles, clipped up in that thing. which is beautiful. So therefore, I pushed them both. I pushed the one of a half an hour, and I pushed the other one of an hour. I didn't find the one of an hour until this year. I just recently found it. Crazy. I was looking for it the whole time, but this time I was looking for it for years, man. I had that thing for years, but I never found the rest of it. I couldn't find it until this year, like a few months ago. I think 1 or 2 months ago. You know, John Perkins, the full interview of 2007 or 2008. I can't believe I didn't find it. It's 2026 right now. Now I found it. Crazy. Anyway, so in that video you will see what Esau does, how he makes different nations poor, and then he becomes richer off of that. And then when he comes to your land, he can buy everything for pennies. You know? Because your money, your things are worthless. That's why you can go to the Philippines, for example, and eat your heart out for $1. You're gonna stuff yourself. The cents, like you know, American cents. That's what you pay for meals over there. If you convert it into American dollars, you pay cents, man, for a meal. Like a whole week, you could probably live off. Let me see, $4 if you don't eat like a beast. $4, $5. You know what's funny? When a female from England walks by, you already know, because they really try and walk around like you know, prostitutes. Like, you know, they're trying to, everything's showable. You know, they're really trying to hook somebody or something like that. They're really sexually active over there. Very much on an adultery tip, even. God damn, nasty. But anyway, so it says right here. Let me go on. Isaiah 14:5. Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, because they're not going to be in rulership no more, man. You know, that scepter represents, you know, authority and stuff. He can hit you upside the head and stuff like that. You know, or he can lift the scepter, just like in the book of Esther. He can lift up the scepter and you will not die. Or he could do something with the scepter. It's just authority. It's just an authority. But anyway, verse 6. Who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruleth the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hinder it. Nobody is going to stop the Most High. Well, actually, nobody is going to stop. Well, it's the Most High first and foremost. But nobody is going to stop the armies that are going to come against Esau. Everybody's going to just let it go. Just like how they let go, they step back when you know, they're stuffing jakes and stuff like that, right? They're snuffing them out. Not the heathen nations are not banding together trying to fight against the system. But when it happens to them, they want you to go help. The so-called black people, they want them to go help them. Hey, why don't you help us out? Because, you know, they don't care about you. And they're going to let you know. Jeremiah chapter 34 verse 1 should show you that the Most High is going to allow these heathen nations to get together. He's going to do it, by the way, not just allow. They're going to get together with Esau, and then they're going to fight against Jacob. But that's in another phase. There's different phases toward it, you know. You got the phase concerning all nations are going to band together and fight against Jacob. You know, Zechariah 14 speaks about that. 14 and 2 and 3. And also Ezekiel 16, where it speaks about thy lovers. All thy lovers are they're going to come together and fight against thee. That's the Jacob descendants. Their future. For especially them house Negroes, man. Those are the ones that actually going to get caught up on that one, because they think that these heathen nations, they are your pals. Most of us going to make it to where you're going to find out that is not the truth. You know? So if I was you, I'd start distancing myself from them right now. Say hello and stuff like that. Because Lord willing, when it's time for snuffing, Not gonna be attached to it. Try my best. I don't even try my best, bro. I just do it. Do it. Just do it. Right. So Isaiah chapter 14, verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee. So when ancient Babylon was destroyed, the fir trees started to rejoice at their fall. And the cedars of Lebanon, which is where Gabal was, from Psalms chapter 83, the Gibeonites. And you can find them also in the book of Joshua 13, Gibeonites. Those are the Canaanites that was living in Lebanon, above Tyre, the Sidonians. But it says right here, verse 7, so Isaiah 14 and 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. Well, in this case, it will be a feller that will come up against you, because all the heathen nations are going to be happy when Esau is going to go down, because Esau is going to make it to where, it's going to be hard for them to live. And therefore, everybody simultaneously, because the Most High is going to put their spirit on them, they're going to fight against America. But that's all the way in the end. Because before that, you're going to have all the Jacob descendants getting bum rushed by Esau and his code. All his supporters and stuff like that. Everybody that's down with Esau, you're going to have Jake with him too, man. You just like back in the days, not just the northern tribes, the southern tribes too. Just like back in the days when I think it was Isaiah, what was it, 37 or something? I don't know, 37. But it was in First Kings too. First King, I think it was Second Kings 16, where you had Aram, and then the northern tribes, Israel, they was fighting against Judah. But this time, you're going to have it once more again, but this time it's going to be the northern tribes, the house Negroes of them, house ones, whatever you want to call them. All of them. Not just one tribe, not just the dark-skinned ones. All of them that are subscribing onto Esau. They're going to join forces with Esau. Then you have the house Jakes, the ones of the southern tribes. They're going to join forces with Esau, and they're going to fight against Jacob, man. They're going to fight against the Jacob descendants that don't want to be around or have anything to do with them or be under their authority. And then they're going to fight against them. They're going to try to force them to be under their authority. And the Most High is going to allow it to where you're going to have a lot of them getting slayed, man. A lot of them getting slayed. But I'm jumping around with different time periods right now. So let me stay focused on what I actually mean so that I can put it good. So Lord willing, explain it good. So check this out. Nowadays, right? I'm going to read it again. So verse 8. So it says right here. Now this happened in ancient Babylon. And ancient Babylon had all the other nations and stuff like that. Nebuchadnezzar had them all under him. That's why he was called King of Kings. And then another one was Artaxerxes. They call him Artaxerxes. He was also King of Kings. And you had Cyrus was also King of Kings. But I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking about the one of ancient Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar right now. This one, which was, let me read it again. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, at your fall, and the cedars of Lebanon at your fall too, which were the Canaanites, saying, Since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us. Right. So back in those days, nobody after the ancient king of Babylon was laid down, by Cyrus the Persian. Yeah, Cyrus the king. He came and he laid. The book of Ezra, chapter 5, shows you that Cyrus took down Nebuchadnezzar the Chaldean. Right. So Nebuchadnezzar the Chaldean, he was taken down in the book of Ezra, chapter 5. It explains there that he was a Chaldean, because it says it. And then the verse after that shows you that he was taken down by Cyrus, who became King of Kings. But it doesn't say it, because it says right there. Let me read it, man. Ezra 5. 12. No? Oh yeah. Ezra 5 and 12. But after that our fathers had provoked the Most High Yahweh the power unto wrath, he gave them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this house and carried the people away into Babylon. And then it says, but in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon, because he took him over. But in the first year of Cyrus, king of Babylon, the same King Cyrus made a decree to build the house of Yahweh. So he went and he slaughtered Nebuchadnezzar, and then he took the title of King of Kings, because it says it right here. Eh? What was it, boy? King of Kings, damn. Oh, I think it was in Daniel. Sorry about this. Daniel 2. So Daniel chapter 2 verse 37, it says, O thou king, art the king of kings, art a king of kings. But anyway, let me get that, man. Daniel 2. How is oh yeah. So Daniel 2 and 37. Thou, O king, talking about Nebuchadnezzar, art a king of kings. And then I'm going to jump to Ezra, chapter 7, verse 12. Artaxerxes, king of kings. So if you read those two verses, then you will see Ezra 7 and 12, I just read. Well, part of it. And Daniel 2 and 37. They were at that time, they were king of kings, meaning they had rulership over all these other nations and stuff like that. And Jeremiah 34 tells you that Nebuchadnezzar and all his bands, meaning all the other kings and stuff like that, they came against Jacob, and they slaughtered the shit out of Jacob. And that's going to happen again. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I actually mean, right? They're going to come again and fight against Jacob. Now, if you are not with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, then you're going to fall under that. You know, Isaiah chapter 65, where it says that, you know, you will bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, you didn't come. You didn't listen. You know, you had better things to do. Stuff like that. Well, the Most High is going to make it to where, was you need him, then he got stuff to do. Nah, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. You know, and the men of the Lord, you know, without helping you, instead of helping you, they're going to be cleaning their nails or something like that, you know, cutting their nails when they get too long. Just an example. Right, so it says here, yea. So Isaiah 14 and 8. So it says, yea, the fir tree rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. So that was back then. But nowadays, modern day Babylon, they're thinking the same, because they think like, hey, if Esau falls, I should say America, I should say. Because they say if America falls, then I'm going to be next. You know, because the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, they think that they're next. You got Moab and China, they think they're next. Then you got Russia, they think they're next. They think, you know, no fella is going to be able to come up against us. because America is then done away with, and then we're going to take over. Oh no, There- there's another feller that's gonna come, which is Jacob. That's mentioned in the book of Micah chapter 5. Micah chapter 5, verse 7, verse 8, and verse 9. The Most High said that he's going to be the Jacob descendants are going to be in the midst. Well, the Most High is going to be in the midst too, but the Jacob descendants are the remnant, I should say. The ones that made it out of the turmoil when all the nations are going to come against Jacob. So like I said, I'm jumping a little bit of timeline and stuff like that, which are kind of far apart, because let me say it, hopefully in concordance, if that's a fancy word. That's a fancy word, or concordance, whatever. So you will have the one that I just described from Isaiah chapter 14, which is the ancient one. After Nebuchadnezzar fell, nobody came to basically chop them down. Was oppressive toward them, because Cyrus was a king. He was king of kings after that, because he started to rule over the other kings also, because he took down the king of kings, and therefore he's the king now, and all the other kings got to listen to him, right? But he wasn't oppressive. Okay, cool cat. So no feller came to chop them trees down, the people in Lebanon and all these other places and stuff like that. Okay, cool cat. So now we fast forward to nowadays, you have Esau is going to be chopped down, right? And afterward, these heathen nations think that no feller after the rule of Esau is going to come to chop them down. That's not going to be the case, because Jacob is going to come and cut you down, cut you down. Like that song from Johnny, I forgot his name. God's going to come and cut you down. I forgot that name. He looked like a Native American man when he was older. He had a song, God is gonna cut you down, something like that. Anyway. So it says right here. On Isaiah chapter 14, verse, what was it, man? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. The Most High he's gonna make effort that death is gonna actually go toward him, because nowadays death is fleeing away from these Edomites. They do a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm looking at them like, what? How he ain't dead? That's because the Most High is preserving them. These little daredevils, they die. But you got more of these daredevils that are not dying. Be like, hey. For example, in Russia, they do a lot of, they go to these tall buildings, and then they do the parkour, something like that, without no bungee thing, man. Boy, I saw funny shit, boy. I saw funny stuff where a guy, boy, hey, that's crazy, boy. But he had good reflex. The Most High spared his ass. Boy, he grabbed the iron rope, or it's not even a rope. It's like it was an iron antenna, like an antenna thing. Boy, I bet your ass his hand was bleeding. When he grabbed it, but he grabbed it on for dear life, man. He was about to, boy, that shit was like, what, 18 stories? I don't even know, man. 18, 16 stories or something like that. Boy, he could, but yeah, but whatever. But the Most High is preserving them. But now, death is going to actively seek them, man. You're going to have insects that's going to stab them, and you're going to die. You're going to have all these type of things, which is highly unlikely causes of death. That's going to start happening to Esau, man. But anyway, let me read on. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee. Let me read it again. So hell is talking about the grave, which is death. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, and those dead is talking about the people that are just like Ezekiel chapter 37, right? Ezekiel chapter 37 talks about the valley of the dry bones. Those are talking about the Israelites. They're alive in the physical form, but they're dead spiritually. From the neck up, you could say. They're spiritually dead. If you don't know who you are, if you call yourself after a color that you are not, you're dead. You call yourself after a continent that's not even the continent's name, by the way. Esau dubbed that. But anyway, you call yourself after a color that you're not. You call yourself you call yourself after a continent that you're not. That's not even the continent's name. It used to be called the land of Ham. But anyway, and you're not a Hamite neither, right? Anyway, so going on. So it says right here, it stirred up the dead 40, even all the chief ones of the earth, all the leaders, all the warriors, all the warrior-minded leaders. They're going to come against Esau and going to blow it up into smithereens. It had raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. That's what death is going to bring. Because the Most High is going to sweep through the houses of the heathen nations their minds. And he's going to put that spirit of let's just basically bomb Babylon the Great, you know, for all the things that they have done. Verse 10. Then shall they speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Because now they have nuclear bombs. Well, back in the days, it was because Nebuchadnezzar fell. King of Babylon fell. You know? But nowadays, it's talking about, you know, these heathen nations are looking now at America. Hey man, they become weak. They become divided amongst each other. They're fighting. What's up, man? What's up? They become divided amongst each other. They're divided. They're fighting. So they're ready for the takeover. That's what they've been doing to Jake. First and foremost, they because when you have unity, you're strong, right? So what they're gonna do is they're gonna divide you. And they did a great job. Until this day, the aftermath of that dividance is still up in them. It's in their soul. They can't help it. You know? But anyway, let me go now to the book of Psalms. So again, let me finish that off. Just for edification's sake. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. But a feller will come up against you, heathen nations that will survive after that Esau falls. And that nation, that feller that will come and chop down all these trees, which are the nations, is going to be Jacob. Micah chapter 5, verse 7 until verse 9. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 20 until 24. Well, the whole chapter, but yeah. Jeremiah 25 also, verse 14, all the way down to the end of the chapter. Anyway, Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Yeah, don't be sitting in the seat of the scornful. You know what I'm saying? You know, always hating. You know, you got this funny thing going on, which you always see. You got groups banding together in order to hate against the group that they was a part of. Then they have like equality hatred, and that is what makes them friends. A relationship built on hate toward another person, that relationship is not a good relationship, because y'all came together in hate. And that was your solidification. That's how you got solidified into being friends and stuff like that. That's like a relationship built on lies. Once that woman finds out that you are a liar, she's gonna get angry, bitter, gonna get to stepping after a while. In the beginning, she might be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I fell in love with the man now," but that's actually not why she came. She came because you lied to her, and then I don't care about that shit. But I'm just giving you an example of a fact. A relationship built, you can do whatever you fucking want. I'm not gonna lie to get pussy. Fuck that shit, man. That's pathetic. You know, that's beneath me. I feel like I don't know, like I lowered myself or something like that. It don't feel good. Like So I got to lie to get some pussy? No. We telling the truth around here. Fuck out of here, man. That's the best thing you could ever do. You might think like, hey man, then you ain't getting no pussy. You're right. But then again, the beauty is this. I don't get no pussy that I know that is going to turn against me eventually. Because you're dodging bullets. Because you might have children with that child, with that woman. And then, she's going to use the kids against you. Whatever. It might not always be like that, You might still be cool cat with chicks that you know from 10 years ago that used to be your ex. Still cool with them. Hey, how you doing? We ain't talking like we talking and stuff like that. You definitely can't come back. I bet you, you can't do that. That's an abomination unto the Lord. So it says right here, Psalms chapter 1 verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Heavenly Father, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Because he always focuses on the scriptures, right? Lord willing, of course. Psalms chapter 1 verse 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. So let me read it again. No, yeah. I'll just read it again. Verse 3. Psalms 1 and 3. And he shall be planted like a tree. And he shall be planted like a... And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters. A tree planted near the rivers of waters is a very prosperous tree. It has water in due season. It gives fruit in due season. Certain trees and fruit trees and stuff like that, and vegetable plants, they only bloom in a certain season. You got some of them bloom all year round. Some of them bloom all year round. But some of them bloom only in the spring, some of them only in the summer, some of them only in the autumn, and some of them even only in the winter. Then they start sprouting up and stuff like that, which is crazy. Most of the time, those are roots. Those are roots. But anyway, so let me read it again. Psalms 1 and 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So, the man that is in the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and stays out of the counsel of the rest of the people, that man will always be like a tree planted near waters. You will always have that water, and that water is that truth. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 26. And what else? Psalms 119 somewhere, and 19 I think. So Psalms 119 verse 19, if I'm correct, which is the water that cleans and stuff like that. That one. But yeah, John 6 and 63. Well, is the spirit that quickeneth. Oh yeah, John 7 and 35. Or 38. One of those two. Which speaks about, that the Lord Yahushua is going to bring that water into your belly and stuff like that, which is your mind. Right? And he's going to water you. Also concerning Apollos, the Most High, and Apostle Paul. What was it? Paul planted, Apollos waters, and Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh is the one that increases. So it's still about that water, right? So, going on. So Psalms 92 and 12. It says, the righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. And the cedars of Lebanon were very big, tall, great, powerful trees that a lot of people used all across the known region at that time. A lot of people wanted the trees of Lebanon, man. When the Canaanites were. They wanted those trees. And there was experts in carving trees. And also carving gemstones and stuff like that. You can read it in the book of 1 Kings chapter 5. You can read about it there. They were great in that. But anyway, they made a lot of idols, by the way. I see a cow right now, so that I thought about it. It's funny. On a bus. Like a van, actually. Something like that. It's a van. But I see a cow on it, so I just... So I just thought about, the idols that they made. But anyway, also. And the other one is Judges chapter 8, verse 22. But these scriptures are the proof to you that the fellas, the trees that were rejoicing when Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon at that time, when he fell, then the trees, they phew, oh man, ain't no fellers coming after this guy, you know. To a certain degree, they're wrong, and to a certain degree, they're right. They're wrong at, well, first and foremost, they're wrong, and then second, they're right. But the right is only after 1,000 years, because after 1,000 years, then Jacob will let off these people, you know, because the Most High said it. He said it in the book of, for example, the Most High said that he will turn again the captivity of Moab once we got Moab in the captivity. He said he gonna turn again the captivity of Ammon in the book of Jeremiah 49, and also Moab in Jeremiah 48. And I think somewhere in Jeremiah 48 or 49 also, it talks about the Most High is going to turn around the captivity of Elam. So all these heathen nations, they're going to go into captivity, and then they're going to what's it again? And then they're going to Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. You know, then they're going to do this. Then they're going to be happy, because Proverbs 29 and 2 says that when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, but when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So then no feller shall come up against the and chop that tree and stuff like that. But before those 1,000 years, yeah, you're going to be chopped down to smithereens. You're going to be chopped down so bad, you're going to remember everything, because a lot of these nations have amnesia. So do we, by the way, as Jacob descendants. We got amnesia. You think you come from somewhere, you're not. You know, you've been told this, you forgot. You forgot that you're a Jacob descendant, right? So therefore, the people have amnesia, right? Even the heathen nations have amnesia. They have no idea what's going on. But they're going to find out, because that amnesia is going to be reversed according to Revelation chapter 2, verse 26, where it says that with thy rod and stuff like that, with the nations shall be like, what's it again? Revelation 2 and 26, where it speaks about you shall break the nations in like a potter's vessel with a rod in your hand. And that rod is going to be basically a scepter, but it's going to be a stick too. But it's going to be a whooping stick for the nations. And they're going to have to submit to Jacob. So that fellow is coming. But yeah, and it's going, because the Most High said in the book of Isaiah chapter 60 also, thy officers shall be oppressors in righteousness, exactors. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 17, it says, for brass I will bring gold. So as much brass there is on the planet Earth, that's how much gold the Most High is going to give us, the Jacob descendants, right? And for iron I will give silver. As much iron there is upon the planet Earth, that's how much silver the Most High is going to give to the Jacob descendants. When's the last time you saw iron? I'm looking at iron right now. It's all over the place. When's the last time you saw silver just chilling, being on the street? Gold. When's the last time you saw gold? You don't see that. You know, you see iron, copper, and stuff like that. You don't see gold and silver. You might find a gold ring or sometime maybe in your life, or you know, find a gold chain or something like that. But most of the time you won't do that. But that's how much the Most High is going to multiply the metallic elements upon the planet Earth, you know, because now, you know, you really got to search for gold and stuff like that. And gold grows. It grows. If you see a stripe like this, in the stone, then if you come to it next year or a few months after that, maybe next year, then the stripe will have grown bigger. That's what gold does. It grows. It's kind of crazy, but it grows. But anyway, the Most High is going to speed that up, just like how Yahweh Shah. I can't tell you because you know, you can think for yourself. This is just scriptures putting things together. For example, the Lord Yahweh Shah, when he touched that tree, what happened to it? It withered away. It got old. And he can do that. He can just make you He can just make you wither away by touching you, and you shrivel up. Speaking of shriveling up, the hand of the man was shriveled up. What did he do? I don't think he touched it. I think he said like your hand, may your hand be fixed and stuff like that. He said thy sins are forgiven, something like that. And then his hand grew back, like a normal hand, like the other hand. So he can do both of them. He can do anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of powers that the Jacob descendants are gonna get, because the Most High said so, right? So anyway, Isaiah chapter 60, verse 17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass. So as much wood as you see right now, that's how much brass the Most High is going to give unto the Jacob descendants in the kingdom. Because Isaiah chapter 60, is talking about the kingdom, right? So going on. So it says here, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. So as much stone as you see, that's how much iron there shall be. And iron, you need iron to build things. Stuff like that, to make your society, to beautify it. And you need stones and stuff like that. I'm looking at a bunch of big slab stones right now behind me too, but that's not beautiful. But you have like these beautiful stones with it's not a gemstone, but it's like, it looks like marble, but it's not, but it looks like it, what I see right now. Anyway, that's how you beautify your place. That's how you beautify your city. That's how you beautify your home. Make it beautiful with all these elements, these stones, these minerals and stuff like that from Yahweh Basha Me'asha, from the earth that the Most High created. And that's how you can make your place fancy. And the kingdom of the Jacob descendants is going to be fancy beyond your imagination. You're gonna have streets paved with real gold. That's gonna be a beautiful day. Now you can't phantom that. You're gonna have people king, 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 taking all the gold out of the boy. What a building here with gold on it. Even if it's not gold, people are willing to steal it. They steal traffic signs, man. Put it in their house. How much more wouldn't they steal gold? Anyway, Isaiah 60 and 17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass. Hey, what the hell? Oh. And for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace. So we're going to be police in the kingdom. We're going to be officers, just like how you have magistrates. Magistrate is like, it's basically like a cop going around seeing if everything is good. People coming up, you'll be like, hey, what are you doing over here? Give me papers, stuff like that. We ain't gonna be asking no papers. We gonna know if you're a Jacob descendant or not. Because Elisha, for example, he could just read your mind, right? He could just read your mind, like, oh, he got you. Yahushua could do that too, What's up? Yeah, man. So Elisha could just read your mind. He did that. What's up, man? Cool. Huh? Bible. Yeah, man. Right. So when Elisha could just read your mind and stuff like that. Why? Because the Most High set him up like that, right? Anyway, so I will also make thy officers peace, and thine extractors righteousness. If you look up the word extractors, it says oppressors. So the Jacob descendants in the kingdom, they're going to be righteous oppressors. that doesn't even sound right. Those are two opposing words, but the Most High is going to make it to be one, because an oppressor is not righteous until you find out, like, oh, so Jacob is going to get everybody back for all the thousands of years of messing around with Jacob that y'all have been doing. So everything that we will do, the oppressing, that will be in righteousness' sake for all your past sins, just like how the Jacob descendants have been paying for their past sins, as the Most High said, right? And they shall until they acknowledge their sins against me, then will I come and free them. That's what the Most High basically said. Until they acknowledge their sins. So therefore, we're still paying for our sins that we did in the past lives, right? Until they acknowledge their sins against me, basically. Right, Psalms 50, King David, or 51. King David says, Against thee and thee only have I sinned. So who do you sin against? You sin against the Most High. Right? Anyway, going back to Psalms chapter 1. No. Judges chapter 8. Yeah, Judges. Still, I'm showing you that, these trees that was talking, is talking about people. But anyway, going on. Just for example's sake, because I think I already hammered it down. I think I gave enough examples, but I got more. Just to rub it in. Now, Judges chapter 8, verse 22. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us. So the men of Jacob said that, right? Both thou and thy son, and thy son's sons also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian, because they wanted him to get the glory. But Gideon was like this, verse 23. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. Yahweh shall rule over you. He was like, nah, I don't want that credit. Give the credit unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. He's going to rule over you. I'm not your king. I don't want to be. And that's it. But that Zerubbabel, which is Zerubbabel, which is Gideon, he had 72 sons. 72 sons. And then 2 only stayed alive, which is it was someone, which is Ahimelech, if I'm correct, and Jotham. Those 2, and then the under 70, which is 70, those died because Ahimelech killed them, murdered them. But I'm gonna read about it. So what I just read was Judges 8 as the example for Judges chapter 9, which is Judges chapter 8 verse 22, and then I'm going to go to Judges 9. So Judges 8:22. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us, both thou and thy son, and thy son's son also. Son's sons also. For thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. Okay. Now I'm going to go to Judges chapter 9, verse 7. And when they told it to Jotham, which is one of the sons of Gideon that got away, he went and stood at the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice and cried, and said unto them, hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that Yahweh may hearken unto you. So basically, listen up to what I gotta say to you, you men of Shechem, right? Verse 8, the trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said unto the olive tree, reign thou over us. This olive tree is talking about Gideon. Why is an olive tree? Because an olive tree is the one that the Most High uses to anoint others above other people. For example, you have here, which is anointing is done with olive oil, by the way. So this is Psalms 45 verse 7, sorry. Psalms 45 verse 7. Thou lovest righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore Yahweh thy power had anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. So that's how you anoint someone above another, with the oil of gladness. And that oil of gladness is talking about, sorry, yeah, that oil of gladness is talking about the olive oil. That's the oil of gladness. And with that olive oil, once you're anointed, then you were above. Let's say there's 10 men. It could be 1,000, whatever. Let's say there's 10 men, and one is anointed with olive oil by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Well, then he's higher than everybody else by decree of the Heavenly Father himself. He did that with Hazael, which is the king of Aram. He anointed him to come and destroy the northern tribers. You know? And who else did he anoint? Oh yeah, Cyrus. He anointed Cyrus to do what? To go and destroy all the kings. That's why he's king of kings. he went and he fought against all the other kingdoms. And then he took them. And then he became king of kings. Slapped them around violently. And in Isaiah 45:1 it says, the gates shall not be closed in front of him. Meaning, you can't battle him. You're going to lose. You know, you can't win. because the Most High is with him. So if you fight against Cyrus at that moment in time, you're fighting against the Most High. And he's going to show you what's really going down. You going down like a tree. Timber. Blah, 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 blah. Right, so going on. So, okay, so Judges chapter 9, verse 8. It says, the trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said unto the olive tree, reign thou over us. That's mentioned in the book of Joshua, Judges 8, the chapter before this. Judges 8:22. Anyway, so now Judges 9 and 9. But the olive tree said unto them, should I leave my fatness wherewith by me they honor Yahweh and man, and to go to be promoted over the trees? He didn't want that. So he's like, nah, I'm good with the Most High, you know, and I'm good with men. I don't want to be a ruler over you, because it wasn't all the Jacob descendants that did that. It was a selected few that have carnal eyes. So they see a mighty man, so they want to start worshiping him like a god or something like that. And they did that. Nimrod. If you look up the word Bel, right? B-E-L, B-E-L, it's actually Baal. But why is it spelled Bel? Because the people of Assyria, and also which is near Babylon, the people of Assyria and also Babylon, they named Nimrod after he died, after he was deified, after his death. They named him Bel. But the Canaanites called him Baal. And then you had other regions that called him Molech, you know? So therefore, basically, it's just the same thing. It's just the same thing. You know? Now Esau changed Molech into an owl, because that's what he worshipped, because, you know, he's wiser now. So therefore, he thinks, now I'm going to change the bull into an owl and call it Molech. And then because an owl could see in the darkness, and this world is full of darkness, John chapter 1, which shows you that this world is full of darkness. Well, you know, we're in darkness while being up in the bright light. While being up in the bright light of the sun, people are still in darkness. If you call yourself after a continent, then you're in darkness. You're in darkness of many things, chasing this world, celebrity status, fame, watching stupid dudes trying to tell you how to pick up chicks. That's the dumbest shit. I know dudes, man, like, you know, they was watching Andrew Tate. Some dumb shit, bro. You gotta be real pathetic. You ain't no real fucking man, man. You need another man to tell you how to get women? You fucking... So that's why you need your father, stupid. That's why he talking to them fatherless. Or them guys that want to get bitches. That's what you're gonna get with him, with his advice. Bitches. Hoes, bitches, nothings. You ain't gonna get women. And if you do, hey, you're gonna fuck it up anyway. I've seen countless fools. They get a kind of good woman, and then they fuck it up because they want to be super players and shit like that. Now they crying. I've seen dudes cry, boy. All I gotta say is, yeah, you fucked it up, you dumbass. You're trying to show this girl that you got options. When she leave, you crying. Stupid. Anyway, you an idiot. But anyway, you got guys like that. Heavenly Father, you know, Heavenly Father willing, you're going to get got for all that adultery you'll be doing. And your kids going to suffer too. Because the Most High said that the child of adultery shall not prosper. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 or 4. One of those two. It's somewhere in Wisdom of Solomon. Children of adultery. Look, technically we're all adulterers, but you have to understand it like this. We're all children of adultery. Why? Technically, not every single individual. Some of them, their mother was a virgin when they was born. That's something else. But I mean, like, let's say, what's up, man? you have two types of adultery. You have the adultery that's you know, sneaking around while she's still with him and stuff like that. That one. And then you have the one that's, you know, they've been broken up for maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe even shorter. Just they broke up, okay? And then you go to make a child with her and stuff like that. That's technically still adultery. But that's another type of adultery, you know what I'm saying? That's more of Yeah, and they separated and stuff like that. That's the other adultery. It's still adultery. But like I said, you have two. You have the blatant, pierce-eyed, disgusting type of adultery, like, she's with him actively, and then you still plow, and then, get pregnant and stuff like that. Those kids are cursed. You know, maybe the Most High has mercy upon one of them, turn them back to Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. Well, that's between the Most High and that person, that child. But as a normality, man, you ain't gonna make it, man. You a child of adultery. You ain't gonna make it, man. You know, the children are a witness against the parents. The fact that that child's there, as a witness of your adultery. And the Most High is gonna take care of that. Gonna take care of you and your girl and that little baby. So that's that. Anyway, so Judges chapter 9 verse